Hello and welcome back. Now I wanted to go over a few more little barbecue tips and tricks. More about tips than anything today, not too many tricks. One of the first things I should have mentioned at the very beginning and I want to get into now is about writing stuff down. Whether you do something right or wrong, I have one that's just an old college three subject notebook. And the reason I have for 3 subjects is that I use chicken, ribs, and brisket. And I have it broke down, and there's all kinds of different deals. You'll see where I've scratched stuff in and did things to that nature. This is very important. Whether you do it right or wrong, you always want a record of it. It's just your recipe book. You can do it on what type of wood you used, what type of seasoning, how long, when you started, because you want to get your times down on what you're doing. The more consistent that you can be in any cook, the better off you will be. This here is going to be your best friend, because some point you're going to say, well, what if I try this? What if I don't? Maybe I'll try this. If you've already tried it or some form of it, you'll have it in the book and you'll have notes. Well, whether it came out right or wrong, well, I cooked it, outside temperature was 80 degrees. Well, my brisket cooked in so many hours. Well, the outside temperature was 50 degrees. Well, it cooked in so many hours, so that you know for whatever temperature is outside that there will be an increase or a decrease in how long it takes to cook your meat to the place that you want it. Not just to get it done, but to get the tenderness down and everything to that nature. So this is $1 spent, but it'll be well worth it in the long run. Another item that I wanted to talk to, and I haven't talked to very much, is wood. Charcoal, wood, anything to that nature. Charcoal is a flavor. Just like your spices is, you can have charcoal that's regular charcoal, you can have it with infused hickory or pecan or anything like that, and that is a flavor on the meat that is more pronounced than what your seasonings will be in a lot of situations, especially on an off-stick burner like this here. Hickory and oak are something you would most likely want to use on a brisket. It's stronger wood. Now when you get into ribs, you're going to want to go to something more of a lighter smoke. That would be pecan or some type of your fruit woods, because it's going to give you that added flavor there and give you that first bite, because what's sitting on top of your rubs and everything is the smoke. So the first thing that hits your tongue, your palate, is actually the smoke coming off of the wood. So use it as your main seasoning. You know, that's why so many people say they use salt, pepper, garlic, and that's it. Well, they always forget to say it's the wood. Some will use post oak, some will use regular oak, some will use hickory. It is always a flavor additive, just as much as any of the other condiments that you will put on it. Mop, sauces, anything to that nature. So make sure that you're using wood, and when you do, write it down in your book. Well, I use this wood because a lot of different woods cook at a lot of different temperature. They put out different BTUs. So some wood will take more, some will take less. And as far as then getting to another deal, it's okay, we've took our, you see this here in my mop, you've taken your brisket and you're letting it rest. You've got all these juices, especially when you wrap in foil and stuff, you have all these juices in here, like on your ribs or your brisket. The main thing you want to do is you want to take and pour it off into here. And what it does is the actual meat juice will settle to the bottom, and then the fat will come to the top. So you don't want to be dipping. Old school dipping is one of the arts that a lot of people forget about, and this will add flavor back to it when you're cooling it down, or when you're putting it back on the pit to heat it back up, or even at the house. You've got a flavor to add moisture back into your cook. So what this does is once it gets to that point, you pull the deal out and you pour it, and you're pouring it until the juices stop coming out. That's all this is made for. That's what this has done. And that way you don't get that fat, because that fat doesn't taste good when you put it back on the meat and reheat it up. So then you've got your mop, old school mop. I get several of these at a time. I don't try to use them over and over again very often. because you can't really put soap and water. You get soap and water into this and it will taint the meat. You'll get that, whatever soap you use in the kitchen will be back on the meat because it's in it. And then when you heat up your dip, it activates that soap again. And whether you can see it, but you will taste it in your final product. So what you want to do is just dip it in there, pat the meat down as it's warming back up. That way it helps to put the flavor in it. A lot of times I will pat that down, and then the last little bit I will put some sauce on it, especially my ribs. It works out great on ribs. Heat them up, cook them, let them cool down, heat them back up, dip them as you're heating in. When you get where the temperature that's coming back up, use your temp probe and put your sauce on there and set it. That way it gives it another flavor, because the last thing you want right there is the natural juices, the natural flavor of the meat to come back out at you. So these are just a few items, but don't forget, this is your main tool. This is going to have all your notes in it, what you've done, how you did it, whether it came out good or bad. You never know. Sorry for the plane. Always write everything you have down in the book. This is going to be your deal. This way you can go back, you know, it's been a few months since I cooked that particular meat. Well, you're going to have notes in it. It's going to tell you what you did right and what you did wrong. So again, this is your main guide right here. This is your recipe book. So be sure and get you one. Use it from day one, because every mistake should be written down just as every success is. We do appreciate it, and thank you. Please subscribe to this channel and give us a big thumbs up. And we do appreciate you stopping back in today, and thank you, and have a great day.